Hello and welcome to the first in the series of videos Reading Between the Lines and How to Maximize Your Results. First of these videos will address the component of exploring music in context, and more specifically the assessment feature Criterion A, Selection of Evidence. Remember that one needs to have diverse materials in at least two areas of inquiry for this component, and three contexts of music present. What's not stated in the guide, and this is purely my suggestion, is to have only one representative work from each of the three contexts: the personal, the local, and the global. If there are only three representative works, this affords the student the opportunity to delve deeper into the musical and extra-musical features in each and still satisfy the broader requirements of exploring music in context. Then the work from the local or the global must become the stimulus for the performed adaptation. The creating exercise can come from any of the contexts, as the choice for the creating exercise is not stipulated in the guide, leaving the final work with no connecting exercise. Here is merely an example. You could have a representative work of lo-fi music, AOI 4, and that's personal to you. A work representative of Vietnamese traditional solo instrumental music, AOI 1, which is local for you. And an aria, for example, from Cantonese opera, AOI 3, and that's global for you. You have satisfied the condition of at least two AOIs, in this case 3, and three contexts of the personal, local, and global. This example would satisfy the notion of diversity and breadth, depending on the manner in which you explored these AOIs in your written work. The piece representative of the Cantonese opera could be used as the stimulus for the performed adaptation, that's the global. And the piece classified as the lo-fi, your personal, could be the stimulus for a creative exercise, leaving the Vietnamese traditional instrumental music, your local, purely for musical and extra-musical exploration. In other words, no additional exercise needs to be produced for the submission as a result of that final investigation. Remember too that in Criterion A, Selection of Evidence, it is not only about satisfying diversity and breadth, but that the evidence in the portfolio is relevant and purposefully balanced. One way of achieving this is to connect the musical features of the work with the extra musical features. In this way, the analysis isn't simply musical observations, but rather gains meaning if connected to the broader historical context and/or the performing practices. Again, it is my contention, not specifically mentioned in the guide, that the musical features could be skewed towards compositional features if it is used as the stimulus for the creating exercise, and the interpretive features if used for the performed adaptation. If a student selects Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, for instance, as the stimulus for a creating exercise, one could make the following observations. Tchaikovsky's opening elects the string section, all adopting pizzicato, to maintain a pulse with lower strings on the strong beats and the other strings on the off beats. The celesta begins in the fifth bar with a simple theme that becomes systematically more rhythmically divided by its end. Initiated with predominantly quavers, eighth notes, moving to motives consisting of semi-quaver pairs and a quaver, sixteenths and an eighth, and eventually culminating in a set of only semiquavers, sixteenths. Along with the harmonic organization, this helps to provide clarity to the substructure and to demarcate the standard 4-bar phrasing. Now that in itself would be a perfectly acceptable set of musical observations with pertinent musical examples. But in order to increase your opportunity of landing in the upper banding, it is suggested that you link the extra musical features with these musical observations, providing purpose. In other words, one could add this. This pulse is almost consistent throughout the entire piece. Its only moment where it is absent is during the cadenza. The importance of having this consistent beat, presented for the most part lightly, helps to ensure that the dancer aligns her initial relève moments on her toes and subsequent other technical feats with the music. This enhances the dramatic impact and solidifies that the music is incidental, as its function here is to support the choreographed dance. There is even the instruction pour le danseuse at the top of the score. Together with Tchaikovsky's choice to have the timbre of the mystical celesta and the plucked strings, this rhythmic foundation helps to define the fundamentally grounded character of the sugar plum, not to mention her ethereal and elusive nature. We are therefore not merely observing for the sake of analysis, but providing meaning to the observations, and in this particular case also providing a clear thread to Area of Inquiry 3, music for dramatic impact, movement and entertainment. Supplying a number of verifiable connections between the musical and the extra musical helps to solidify the relevancy and purpose, and hopefully, along with other factors of course, helps you to fall into the upper band mark, which is 5 or 6 out of 6 for Criterion A. We hope that this has been helpful, and I encourage you to subscribe for the next installment in this series. Thank you very much.